What is going on, Mayo Gang? And today we're going to be taking a look at the Tandemkross Cthulhu. Yes, I know it's been out for a while, but Tandemkross has recently come out with some exciting new colorways to jazz up the Cthulhu platform. For those of you guys who have been living under a rock and don't know what the Tandemkross Cthulhu is, well, it is a gas blowback airsoft pistol with the official license of Tandemkross. And Tandemkross, they are a high-end competition 22 caliber pistol manufacturer, and now they're stepping their toes into airsoft through Lancer Tactical. Now, last year, Tandemkross Cthulhu came out in the iconic black and red colorway, making it a certified airsoft classic at this point. But one thing was on the minds of everyone here at AirsoftGI.com and also the airsoft community as a whole. Where are the rest of the colors? And we've been bugging them for quite a while now, and finally they listened. It is here. We have a ton of new colorways for us to look into, so let's go on and take a deeper look. The first colorway that I want to show off to you guys right now on camera is going to be the all black Tandemkross Cthulhu. As you can see, very subtle, very stealthy kind of appearance. Really gives you that like Hitman kind of vibe, you know what I'm saying? Just that black on black aesthetic is great. And I think this is really good for anyone who just, you know, wants the performance of the Cthulhu without having to be super flashy like we see a lot of times out on the field. Next up is going to be the black and green colorway. Very interesting. It's like a very like toxic, radioactive kind of green, which for those of you guys who are running black and green setups, I think this will definitely fill that niche. And then next up, I want to talk about just, I guess, some standard color additions for any kind of flashier style airsoft pistol out there. It's going to be the chrome silver, the black and chrome. Looks very flashy, really just glares into your eyes every time it hits the light. Oh gosh, my eyes. So again, for those guys running that black and silver colorway, this is really great. And of course, we cannot ignore the black and gold. All right, there is black and gold airsoft guns everywhere. I see black and gold airsoft setups all the time, especially in indoor fields. So if you guys like to add a little bit of gold into your loadout, this is great. And probably the most popular so far that we've noticed here at Airsoft GI, and also just as the internet as a whole, is going to be the titanium colorway. Oh my goodness, it is not any one particular color per se, but it is a really interesting like color shifting pattern. Like as you kind of move the gun around in the lights and stuff, you really get to see the colors kind of transition and shift. It is a very hypnotic, very alluring colorway as well. So if I were to be running a Tandemkross Cthulhu, for me it would either be a toss-up between either the stealthy, subtle all black or the titanium, just because of how unique this bad boy looks. To give you guys a quick rundown of the Tandemkross Cthulhu, again, for those of you guys who have been living under a rock and don't know what this is, the Tandemkross Cthulhu is going to be a full polymer, I guess you would say upper and lower receiver body design, which is nice because it is very durable and flexible, and most importantly, extremely lightweight, because a lot of these competition style indoor airsoft players, they're all about keeping things light, which is good. Now, if you look at the different components here on the left side of the gun, you're gonna see that you have obviously your color accented parts, such as the fluted outer barrel and the included thumb rest and the safety switch, magazine release, and an included halo, I guess you would say like charging handle ring. And the trigger down here is also nicely textured with an included set screw to kind of help fine tune your trigger pull, which is really nice. Not only that, but a lot of these controls are going to be enlarged, so it's going to be very easy for you to access things like your magazine release, your bolt release, your manual safety, all these important controls that you need while you're playing can be very easily accessible to you, especially when you are wearing gloves. Now, on the top, you're going to notice that you have the 3-dot fiber optic sight, which is really great, makes aiming really fast and easy. And along the top, you have your segment of Picatinny rail for, I guess you would say, more full-size red dot sights. Because this is a competition gun and they're not really intending you to run this holster, they're, you know, this is going to be like your primary. I think having that is a very good feature. Now, one interesting thing about the Tandemkross Cthulhu is that they will give you an added, I guess you would say, optional micro red dot mount as well. I believe you can exchange this Picatinny rail up top, take out the set screws, and you can mount it on the bottom for, I don't know, foregrips, flashlights, lasers. And then on the top, you can still have the option of mounting a micro red dot like you would with a lot of more traditional airsoft pistols. So that is a really cool little detail. Now, internally, the Tandemkross Cthulhu is going to be based off the Action Army AAP01 platform. Okay, this little squirt gun looking guy over here. Okay, so this guy is extremely customizable. The AAP01 has quickly become, I guess, an exploding platform just because of how much internal parts and external parts you can change out on this guy. And the Tandemkross Cthulhu uses the same exact DNA, which is really nice. So, in my opinion, personally, I mean, with this little squirt gun looking little dude, all right, looks a little silly, okay? You know, having something like a Tandemkross Cthulhu just makes it look so much more refined, so much more elegant, so much more high-end right out of the box compared to, you know, get this little dinky squirt gun guy. You know, are you gonna spray me with water or are you gonna shoot me with BBs? I don't know. Like I said before, the Tandemkross Cthulhu is borrowing the system from the AAP01, which means one thing: you can put a ton of aftermarket parts on this bad boy. And you know what? That's exactly what we did in today's video. So the Tandemkross Cthulhu that you see here, the titanium one, as you notice, it has a golden bolt, and that's because we actually went inside and did a lot of internal work that is surprisingly quite easy to do. So why don't we go ahead and show you exactly what we put inside this Cthulhu and see how it benefits performance-wise. All right, disembodied voice Boaz over here, and today we're going to show you all the different aftermarket components you can do to upgrade the internals of your Tandemkross Cthulhu. Externally, not really much to do, you know, it already looks so fantastic out of the box, already looks pretty custom, but internally, you can always upgrade performance if you want to. So we're going to eject the magazine, press the button in the rear to separate the upper and the lower components. All right, so first upgrade we're gonna do is that we're gonna change out the stock bolt for the Atlas Custom Works lightweight aluminum bolt. And my favorite part is that it comes with an externally accessible selector switch, super convenient. So we're gonna undo the top two screws over here to take out the rail. This will come in handy later, especially when we change out the hop-up unit and the inner barrel. So we're gonna do that right now. Now, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna undo the rear sight. So this will allow it to kind of flap open a bit to expose these two set screws beneath the rear sight that will allow you to release the bolt. So I'm gonna take a small hex key and then we're gonna undo the halo charging handle as well. So that way it will have an easier time bringing this guy in and out of the upper unit. Now we're gonna undo the two screws over here, and that should free up the bolt and it should just slide right out. All right, and now we're gonna go and basically gut the bolt unit. We're still gonna keep with the stock nozzle and the stock nozzle return spring, but the bolt itself is going to be completely replaced. So first thing we have to do is we have to take off this plate in front of the nozzle. So we're gonna take out these small screws over here on the front. Make sure not to lose them. There you go, as it goes falling onto the table. And then we're gonna remove the nozzle and make sure not to lose the nozzle return spring as well. For that, you have your recoil spring, which we're also going to be changing out to an aftermarket one as well. And of course, you have your piston and the guide rod, which I believe we're also going to be changing out as well. So we're gonna check placement of the piston in the rear. Make sure it's nice and lined up, and it mates pretty well with the Atlas Custom Works, so that's really good to see. Now we're gonna get the Cow upgraded recoil spring, guide rod, and with spacers as well. So now we're gonna be able to short stroke this guy, bringing the cycling rate and the rate of fire even faster. So I believe we're just gonna start off with one of those spacers. We're gonna put in the upgraded recoil spring. The nozzle should fit right in. And now the nozzle return spring also slides in through the front. And just gently pat that in. And now we have the cover plate that should also slide in. Again, make sure to keep an eye out for those really small screws. You don't want to lose those. So we're gonna tighten those down. And now the bolt assembly should basically just slide right in like a glove. Now we're gonna redo those 2 bolt retaining set screws. And now we're gonna re-tighten down the rear sight assembly. There you go. We're gonna do a little test rack and it's cycling pretty smooth. Next up, we're gonna do the TTI TDC or top down center hop up unit, a unicorn 80-degree bucking, and a 150mm unicorn Type 4 inner barrel should really increase your range and accuracy with those upgrades. So we're gonna start by removing the 2 screws that are holding the outer barrel and the rest of the upper together. And then we're gonna gently pry those apart and try to twist it. There you go, pops right out. Now you can see the exposed hop-up unit. Next, we're gonna take out the set screws that are retaining the inner barrel and hop-up unit to the outer barrel assembly. And that should also slide right out. Now, pretty much at this point, we don't need this entire thing. We can set that aside for now because we're gonna completely redo the hop-up unit. The TTI hop-up unit does come with an instruction manual installation guide if you're having trouble. So there's the upgraded hop-up unit, a drill bit if you want to drill through the receiver for the top-down center mod, and some hardware. Now you see we are having the unicorn barrel and we're undoing the bucking over here, just prepping everything. And now we're gonna go ahead and take out these 2 set screws on the silver part. That's the sleeve that kind of holds the whole hop-up unit together. I'm gonna go ahead and gently slide that out. And then the red part is gonna be your hop-up wheel. And so we're gonna go ahead and first take that right out, just slide right out. Next up, we're gonna kind of bring the hop-up arm upwards at a 90-degree angle so it doesn't get in the way, but we're gonna do a test fit right here to see how it meshes with the inner barrel. And then we're gonna install the bucking. Just carefully get that to fit right in nice and snug. At this point, it's very important to check for alignment. And then something that's very oddly satisfying is just pulling it all the way through, making sure that, again, it's seated in the correct position. And then now we're gonna go ahead and put the hop-up arm down and in place. Now we're gonna go ahead and screw the whole thing together. So in reverse order, we're gonna start with the hop-up adjustment wheel and then the whole sleeve that brings the whole hop-up unit together. Slide that back in place. And we're gonna tighten those 2 set screws down so that way the hop-up unit will work properly. And then we're just gonna slide that into the outer barrel assembly, and it fits like a glove. Go ahead and take those set screws that hold the inner barrel in place, tighten those down. Now we're going to fit that back into the upper receiver assembly, and as you can see, nice and snug as it should be. And then we're going to take the 2 set screws that hold the hop-up unit and the outer barrel together, back in place. Now at this point, we're going to go ahead and for now put the set screws for the rail back in place. But as you can see here with the TTI hop-up unit, you can still access the hop-up wheel in the traditional way if you want to with your finger or with the flathead. But if you want to do the TDC mod, you will have to drill through the upper to access that part. Finally, we're going to do the aftermarket mag well. So we're going to undo the grub screw here at the bottom of the grip. We're going to remove that spacer. I'm just going to slide in that TTI mag well and then put the set screw back in place so it sits nice and flush. There you go. Now you should be reloading a lot quicker with that mag well. And of course, we're gonna now put the upper and the lower back together. Click into place, and it's cycling beautifully. Now that you've seen all the parts and upgrades that we put into this Tandemkross Cthulhu, you might be wondering, what is it going to shoot like? Well, from the get-go, because of the lightweight bolt that we got from Atlas Custom Works, it completely deletes recoil. There is zero recoil. This might as well just be like an electric pistol at this point, just because of how little recoil you get from the upgraded bolt. And not only that, because we short-struck it and of how lightweight the bullet is, the cycling action is super fast, super snappy, and you get a very noticeable increase in rate of fire when you fire this guy in full auto. And not only that, I really love the fact that the Atlas Custom Works bolt here has an external fire selector, so if you want to quickly switch from semi to auto, very easy to do so. Next up, we went ahead and changed out, like you saw earlier, the TTI top down center, or TDC hop-up unit. This will greatly increase the overall hop in your BB, allowing you to hop heavier BBs, especially if you want those longer distance engagements. Now, one cool thing I like about the TTI hop-up unit is that it is a dual function system. As you saw earlier, there is an option to where if you really want to access the top-down center mod, you do have to remove this rail segment and drill a hole down on the top of your Cthulhu, which is, in my opinion, kind of an invasive upgrade. Personally, for me, I decided just to leave that out because you could still break apart the pistol like normal and then adjust the hop up normally with a more enlarged dial. Yeah, pretty easily. So I decided just to leave that as is. And of course, I put in a really stiff bucking and a unicorn type bore inner barrel to really maximize your accuracy, because I'd imagine if you're going to run something like this as your primary, you're probably going to want to one-tap people. So, you know, maximizing your range and accuracy on this bad boy, very, very doable, especially because of how long the inner barrel is compared to other gas blowback pistols out there. And finally, the last mod I did, just as a creature comfort, is going to be adding that aftermarket magwell, which is, I would say, pretty nice, pretty interesting. One caveat that we did find out when installing this is that this guy doesn't really like the standard base plate on your Tandemkross Cthulhu or any kind of AAP01 magazine. So if you want to use this with like the flush fit standard magazine, you might have to remove the base plate to get it to seat properly. But if you want, I'd probably say you can run an extendo on this bad boy, so that way you can get more magazine capacity. Or let's be honest, you're probably going to just get an HP adapter on this thing with an M4 mag. So what's the point? Ah, look at that, the extendo. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Ooh, yeah, I can definitely attempt to primary this bad boy with this 50 round extender from PH Plus. Ooh, and I kind of like how the hexagon texturing kind of matches with this. So really nice. Yeah, and I can still take advantage of the magwell, making it a lot easier to reload. Oh, and just to let you guys know, this Tandemkross Cthulhu that we built with the internal components already upgraded, we are going to be offering this as a custom at AirsoftGI.com. So if you want a custom AAP01 style pistol but do none of the legwork, yeah, it's up there. I'd say all in all, I think Lance Chaswell did a really great job at finally releasing all these new colorways for the Tandemkross Cthulhu. And either way you cut it, I think it's just a really nice option to have if you want to have a more high-end or more refined looking AAP01 style pistol without having to do a whole ton of custom work to get it to look cool. I mean, again, for example, this is the original AAP01. In my opinion, I don't think it looks very nice, very fancy, or very cool. And having the option to, let's say, right out of the box, come out with titanium parts, you know, having a more sleek and more, I guess you would say, aesthetically pleasing body out of the box, I think is a really big deal. And also, just like we showed in the video, it readily accepts all the AAP01 performance parts that you want, easily drop and fits into this bad boy. So if you guys are interested in all the new colorways of the AAP01, make sure to head over to AirsoftGI.com, where we have all these guys available Of course, while supplies last. I would not be surprised if this guy is the first one to go because of how sick it is. But if you guys like what you're seeing, please make sure to like this video as well as subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that bell icon to get notified of every time we upload a new video. And if you want to support the channel, the best way to do so is to go to airsoftgi.com for all your airsoft needs. Supporting airsoftgi.com helps keep these lights on and that camera rolling. Other than that, my name is Boaz, and we'll catch you next time, Mail Gang.